Open your web browser and type in Photopea. Click on Photopea Online Editor. A window will pop up. This is an online editor, which means if you close this tab, your work will be lost. Make sure you go to File, Save as PSD before you close this tab. Okay, to open a new piece of paper to work on, go to File, New, go to Print, choose A4, 300 dots per inch. The measurements are already set. White background, click Create. This creates a piece of paper for you to work on. To open up this grid square, it's File, Open. In your recent files, you should be able to find transparent A3 grid. Click on it and say Open. Okay, so we have two separate documents open at the moment in this web browser. So we've got transparent A3 grid and our new project. We need to get the grid onto the project. So you'll notice when you click on the tabs, the different images show. Make sure you're on the grid, so that's highlighted in grey. Go to Edit, Copy, click onto your new project, then say Edit, Paste. Okay, so we have our grid overlaid and it's on a new layer. When you're working on a layer, it's grey. So you can see from clicking on the different sections that I'm now on this layer here. So I'm going to reduce the opacity and make the grid a bit see-through because it's just helping us with our drawing. Now I'm going to introduce another layer. Next to the bin icon, there is a new layer icon. Looks like a folded piece of paper. Just click on it and you'll get a layer on top of your background layer. On this layer we're going to draw a line of symmetry with a pen tool. So we'll get the pen, then the pen tool controls come up here. This is set to the wrong things for what we want to do. So we're going on to the fill and we're saying no fill. But then we do need an outline, so we're going on to outline. We're going to choose solid colour, so we're outlining with a solid colour and we'll choose black. We'll make this about 9, that's the size of the line that we are drawing with, so 9 is okay. So I'm going to put a point on the line and a point at the bottom. So I'm just clicking and then the computer will join the two dots together. Okay, so that's our line of symmetry. So we're going to work on a new layer now to do our drawing. So we're going onto the drawn layer and we're going to use shapes to draw with to make an imaginary bottle. Hiding behind the rectangle tool is an elliptical tool. So if you right click using 2 fingers on the top right hand side of your trackpad, which you use as a mouse, then you should be able to see the other tools that are underneath. Choose the ellipse and then draw an imaginary bottle starting at the top. So I'm counting 3 squares from the line of symmetry, so I need 3 squares also on the other side. Then I'm going to go in a bit, I'll go to 2 squares. So it's just before the 2 squares, so I'm going to make sure it's the same on the other side. And then I'm going to make it go wide here. So out 4 squares from the line of symmetry, so we need also 4 squares on this side. And then I'll pull it back in to 2. So 2 squares away from the line of symmetry. Okay, now we're going to use the pen tool to draw. If you right click on it, 2 fingers in the top of the trackpad, you get 2 types of pen. We do not want the free pen tool, we want the pen tool. So make sure you're clicked on that one. Make sure it's set to no fill. If it isn't, go to here. Make sure the stroke is set to fill with a solid colour, and that gives your line an outline. So the pen tool we need to use to draw the edge of the object. So the first mark you make is just a click. Then you need to put another click in between this and the next ellipse so that you can draw a curve. So when we click this time, we don't let go of the click, we drag when we click it at the same time. Now I've let go, click again, don't let go, and drag. And the dragging gives me these anchor points which will enable me to change the line. So I'm going to click and drag, click and drag, and you can see that I'm getting the ability to sort of move the edge of this line. Click and drag again, and then finally I'm going to click it to the bottom. So try and be careful to join it up. Oops, I don't know what I did then. Okay, so now the tool beneath the pen tool is a selection tool. So if I right click on that and I need to choose direct select, so I'm going to click on that one. This lets me choose the different points on my line and move them and change them. So I quite like this curve here. I'm going to leave that as it is, but I'm going to move this one a little bit, and I'll pull this in a bit, pull this over to make it have a stronger curve. Okay, and then I'm going to move this anchor point out because it doesn't look like it's in the right place now. So I'll pull that out a bit, and I might curve it also because this needs to be a bit smoother. Okay, so the next anchor point is here. I'm just going to pull that down a bit so that I make my curve even smoother, and I might just pull this out slightly and pull it in using the anchor point. So I'm controlling the shape of the line by moving them around with the selection tool. Oh, that's very nice. I like that shape. Okay, so now I'm happy with this outline. If at any point you go wrong and you don't like what you did, you can always do edit, undo, and that will undo one step. Or if you show history over here, you can go to Windows, History if it's not there. So if you watch, if I move up the commands, the actions that I just did, you can see that it goes back to a point in history. But I like what I did, so I'm going to move forwards and leave it like that. Okay, so shape number 4 is the outline. I'm just going to rasterize that shape because I'm happy with it now, so I don't need to move any of the points. So on the right layer, just right click and say rasterize. Now that's turned into a proper line now, instead of it being a path that I can move things around with. So I'm now going to duplicate this layer to draw the other side, so I don't have to draw the other side of the bottle. So I'm going to right click on the layer and say duplicate layer. So now I have a copy which you can't see because it's in exactly the same place as the other one. So I'm now going to get the move tool, which is here, click on that, and I'm on this layer, and I'm just going to use the cursor key to move my line over so you can see it. Okay, and now I'm going to do edit, transform, flip horizontally, and you'll see that my line turned the other way round and is now facing the right way to be on the other side. So I should just be able to click and drag to move it, although sometimes Photopea doesn't like that. Okay, so it's not working for me. So what I'm going to do is do it with the cursor key instead. So somehow I moved my line of symmetry without meaning to. Now I'm just nudging it back. Okay, so I'm going to hide my line of symmetry. Just hide it so you can't see it. Now I'm going to also hide my grid. And you should be able to see my full drawing now. Okay, so this is my drawing of my imaginary vase. So I'm going to now save this image, do File, Save as PSD, Save PSD. If I do Save As, it gives me an option of changing the name of it. So it's now called New Project.